ventures, but we are glad to have a little bit of your time tonight to have you here in the studio. And whatever you'd like to start with, we'd love to hear.
Always excited to be here. I brought a bunch of new songs, and most of these are in the recording or mastering process.
And you brought a band with you.
I did. It's a robot band. It's Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
Yeah, hopefully he cooperates. So this one is called Sixth Sense. Happening again. Sixth sense. You can't explain. You're keeping it secret. Losing sleep. Everyone makes mistakes. To tell it like it is. Emperor's thin-skinned. Anyone can tell. They put you on ice, lock you in a safe. Give 'em hell.
that was
Thank you.
borderline ethereal.
Good
Good stuff.
Really, really beautiful
Thank you.
work, Rafael. You said that's this is new material. Was that a newer song?
Yeah, this is all new material, and I've the recording has a combination of sort of electronic rhythm and acoustic rhythm and real drum kit, and then some electronic drum machine and stuff. I've kind of put all the programmed drums in here for easily recreating it live when I don't have a drummer.
Really nice sound on that. And I know we were talking before the show, you've been pretty busy with web development, sound engineer, doing videography, and all sorts of things. And then we had COVID interrupting our lives. So these last several years, has that been a productive time for you songwriting or not?
It has. The reason I learned web development was so that I could have energy after work, as opposed to when I was in the restaurant industry. So I could have energy after work to work on music. So I'm always writing. I'm really committed to having room in my life for that. And I've got more material than I have time to record. But I finally converted part of my house into a recording space, and I've treated all the walls, and I built a bunch of sound panels. And so I'm going to try to keep up with my own imagination by just recording at home. And I do a lot of Instagram stuff too, and so I can get things out faster.
That sounds like a good problem to have, though, to have your imagination outstripping your ability to record it.
Yeah, so far so good.
But when it does, how do you save those ideas if they're staying too far out in front of you?
They're all videos in my phone. I don't, instead of voice memos now, in case I need to actually see my fingers for a guitar part, everything is a video.
Oh, yeah.
So I have my phone set up all the time, and I just play things. And I've got songs that are unfinished that are all just videos on there. And
Oh, that's a great idea. That's one of the magic things of having these little pocket computers with us everywhere we go is you can save everything now.
So songs like that, and we're always interested in the songwriting process, and it probably is different song by song for you, but that particular song, did you start with that rolling chord structure and then sort of the imagery came to you, or do you remember?
I think this is one of the few times that I used a drum machine first, and I liked the rhythm, and then I think I played to the rhythm, and that was a fun way to do it because I'll often overplay if I start with the guitar because I'm more connected to the guitar than other things, to my voice even, or to rhythm. The guitar is kind of like my heart. But starting with rhythm allowed me to then write something that's just simple arpeggio and not get really too busy in the guitars. I'm trying to do that more.
Well, as Bob said, that song was like hallucinogenic, and
Yeah.
I could vision that as being part of a film, score.
That
out
too,
there.
yeah. Hopefully, I mean that'd be great. That's where the money is now.
Well, on the live stream, Matty Sheets said he was playing along on his ukulele. So I wonder if you could give him something else to play along with.
Oh my God, I would love to hear that part. Yeah. If you want to come down to the studio and put the ukulele on it live.
He wants to.
How about another one?
Yep.
Yes, please.
So this one would be very interesting with some ukulele. This one's called Tidal Pool. Oh, sorry. I realized I was not all the way ready. Okay, here we go. Lights approaching, coming round the bend. Evening, I'm frozen, crossing the road. Then I'm a starfish, the green tidal pool. You can observe it, let no one intrude. Pinch me, I'm falling. Cover my eyes. Rain and the algae coat in my face. Blindly I stumble, cut myself free. Hiding is no use. Jukebox display.
It just keeps getting better.
Thank you.
John Gillespie on the live stream saying, making 5/4 seem effortless.
Thank you. Yeah, there was a little too much effort at the beginning, but then it's once you're in the groove of it, then it's comfortable.
Buddy, we are here enjoying our time tremendously with Rafael Green. You can learn all about Rafael at rafaelgreenmusic.com. And are there recordings available for people to purchase?
Yes. As far as purchasing, the one place you can still, well, I think you can tip on Spotify, and I am on Spotify. Rafael Green, probably the only Rafael Green with an F, maybe. Maybe there's a few of them. But probably one of the first ones that'll pop up. And then Bandcamp is still great for actually kind of tipping musicians and stuff. You can still pay what you want.
This might be Bandcamp Friday, isn't it? The last Friday of every month?
You might be right. So I think we're getting extra.
Yeah, you get 100%.
Everything, 100%.
I should be plugging that.
Yes.
Everybody,
Rafael,
you still have time to get out to Bandcamp right now.
Let me make sure I've got the URL right. But I believe it is rafaelgreenmusic.bandcamp.com.
Easy to find. Go out there and buy all of the stuff, y'all.
Yes, please. Thank you.
And so these new songs, you have plans to release these?
Yeah, these are all recorded, and I am in the kind of process of mixing and finalizing them.
Well, nice to have that equipment at home, and but we were talking that you do work at Manifold Recording in Chapel Hill. I just and I've seen pictures of them. I just read up though 24-foot ceilings
What?
in the studio,
Oh gosh, it's so great.
and they have 8K RED cameras. Tell us, what are RED cameras?
Red cameras. So yeah, I've been done a couple of shoots over there for a pianist. Another one was a guitar player. Red cameras are a digital cinema camera. Gosh, I'm trying to think of some movies that have used all red cameras. I can't think off the top of my head. There are some big productions that have used all red cameras, but yeah, they're really top notch. So head over there and make a video, and
Then you'll have to buy one of those 8K TVs, Bob, so you can watch it.
I've been waiting for my 18-year-old TV to die so I could buy a new TV, but it just keeps chugging along.
Oh, very cool. So, so you're involved with video work there of like bands that come in?
Sometimes I'm a freelance videographer as one of my hustles, and I do know all the equipment there and do stuff there occasionally. And I actually recorded some of the guitars on this next album there. It was one of the only things I didn't do in my house because the guitar's the key part of the whole thing for me. So I went there to do some of that.
What a great playground.
Yeah,
Right?
It's such a great facility. Very cool. And tucked away in the woods like Lothlorien. It's really great.
As all the cool places are, tucked away in the woods.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know, and it's no secret that your mother is Nancy Green,
Well, it's a secret to me.
well, not anymore, a very noted and a highly respected professional cellist, and so we always like to hear about when people grew up. So, was it all classical music in the house when you were growing up?
Yeah. I think I only listened to classical music. I'd only really been exposed to classical music until maybe high school or junior high or something like that. And then I discovered, I think at the time, the early 2000s, it would have been big bands were like Radiohead and, well, the indie bands were like Radiohead. I think the Pixies had just put out This Monkey's Gone to Heaven. Can't remember which album that is. And like that kind of stuff. I discovered that stuff. And then from there went back and learned all about rock and popular music. But up until I was a teenager, it was all classical. And I'd heard the Beatles and everything because it's so... Because I had seen Yellow Submarine as a kid and everything. But so I had a lot of catching up to do to think and arrange for kind of in a rock or indie rock or folk musical setting. I had to catch up a little bit.
And where did you live growing up?
We lived in, I was born in Essen, Germany, and then we lived in Wraysbury in England, where my mom taught in London. Wraysbury is just kind of outside London. And then we moved to Arizona. And I
Well,
spent
what a change.
most of my,
Wow.
most of, from rainy, moody, kind of foggy moors and rainy streets to the vortex and the mountains and the saguaro cactuses and everything. And
Yeah.
that's where I kind of spent most of my life. I think from age 8 or 9 until I was an adult, like 22 or something like that.
And your first instrument?
Let's see. I think my mom tried to get me into piano at one point.
That is a recurring theme, Bob.
Well, you're supposed to start there, right?
Everyone has to start on piano.
Yeah, because it's the best tool to begin understanding music theory.
Well, it's all
I
laid
guess.
out for you.
Yeah, but I didn't like it, and I wasn't very disciplined, and my parents were very. They were not pushy or very controlling, so
Good for them.
I
Yeah.
was allowed to quit, and then I think they tried buying me a cheap guitar to see if that would take, and it didn't take for the first few years, and then I remember we moved to a new house, and all of my things were in boxes, and the only thing that was unpacked was the guitar. And so I learned
It was
how
the
to
only
play
toy.
It was the only toy, and then I got into it.
Well, I'm curious. You grew up in obviously a house where classical music was super important, but was pop music and rock and roll frowned upon, or was it just something that just wasn't generally available?
No, it was more that my parents weren't as familiar with it. So my dad maybe more so did know, was familiar with some of the like American songwriters and stuff, maybe more familiar, but I think a lot of classical musicians hear what plays on the radio and think that's the extent of non-classical music and don't know how deep it goes and how much there is that's really interesting or really poetic or compelling or complex or whatever. And so I felt like then when I started discovering non-classical music and introducing it to my parents, then they got to, that was fun for them. They got to like discover all the things that they missed that were.
Oh, what
really
fun!
Cool.
That you're introducing them to something, and they're going, "Hey, this is good. I want to listen to this."
Right, like I got to introduce my parents to Nick Drake, for example, and like they didn't know any of these kind of like songwriters and stuff, and so my mom loves Nick Drake, and like so so I got to be I then got to give back and share things with them, and
it sounds like a great relationship you guys have.
we have similar music taste, so it's not too divergent. Like there are things that I like that maybe are just from like an arrangement standpoint too abrasive or something for their ears, but we basically have the same taste in terms of like the content of things, like how things that are deep, really emotional or moody or whatever. So I'm usually the things that I bring back to them to show them they like.
Well, that makes sense. That's sort of the music that was in your ears since you were an embryo.
Yeah.
It makes sense that's going to be the kind of stuff you gravitate towards as you mature.
Nice story, though. Child is father to the man.
Right?
Awesome.
And it's great that your parents are open to that and open to hearing new to them music and embracing it.
Yeah.
That's not always the case.
Well, we are open to hearing your next song, if you'd be so kind.
Awesome. Okay, I'm sort of picking at random from my set list here. This song is called Dance. This makes heavy use of synths and drum machines, but has some cool guitar stuff too.
We need Kim Lane here for the dancing. She usually is dancing for the dance portion of the show.
Hopefully
I think
she's-
this is a very danceable. This is my take on a danceable track. Okay. Drifting in the clouds, frozen in a dance, fingers to the ground, flow into the sea, smaller than a grain, transparent to the eye, turn with what you found, flow into the sea. A knot comes loose inside. So you can breathe. Movement in your arms, swelling of your sides, everything is gone. Frozen in a dance, jaws are open wide. Galaxy inside. Love it borders on. Frozen in a dance. A knot comes loose inside. So you can
Yay.
Thank you.
I'm curious, Raphael, in the last few minutes as we get to the top of the hour, how you put together the tracks on your laptop that we're hearing as background.
A lot of it is a electron rhythm drum machine that I didn't bring the drum machine. I usually don't. If I'm playing by myself and I want to have the backing tracks, I don't bring the whole drum machine because it's more waiting while the audience has to wait while I change patches and stuff.
Sure.
So I've recorded the rhythm drum machine into the laptop, and then I've recorded some synthesizers, some sequential Prophet 6 synth sounds. I think there's some Moog subharmonicon in there, which is a really fun synth. I keep meaning to make an album that's all folktronica, just acoustic guitar and electronic
That would
drum
be awesome.
machines and stuff, because I think it's an underexplored genre. James Uweel is one of the few people I can think of who's kind of really worked in that genre, and I think on a given album of his, maybe only half of the songs actually have like an acoustic guitar. So I'd love to do something like that because I think I actually heard him first and I loved it.
Well, now that you've said it on Pass the Hat, there are tens of people out there who are planning to do this also.
Yeah,
so you're gonna have to beat them
now
to
I
it.
have to beat them to it.
Yes.
But every time I start a new project and I intend to do something like that, then I just start hearing things that I want to add. Like I need cymbals. It needs that wash of acoustic cymbals, and then I eventually
Sure.
abandon the vision. But
Yeah, you
at
can
some
make the
point-
band as big as you want to because it all just fits into that notebook-sized piece of paper.
Yeah, and if no one's available, I'll survive.
Right.
And I can just kind of
So is this a linear process where you just lay it down you have these ideas, you lay them down, and then you run through it and it's perfect, or it's recursive where you pull this out, or maybe you go back and you add a different chord structure or different vocals, or how spontaneous is it, I guess is what I want to say.
One of the things that usually sticks is the rhythm. The guitar parts usually stick after like a few revisions. I mean, whatever like the first couple ideas are, usually like the vocals never stick. So I find that to be the hardest part. And I go through a dozen revisions of, I just rewrite the vocals over and over and over again. If I didn't have that problem, I'd be able to put material out a lot faster.
I think it's might be a good problem to have because you're seeking your own ground. Everybody, we are here with Rafael Green. As always, the show is the audio is on WHUPFM.org. But in addition to that, we do video streaming every week, Bob. And so, everybody, we still have 30 minutes of the show left. And so I think you'd like to, if you're only listening to the audio, catch some video and people tell people, Bob, where they can do that.
That's right. If you're just listening to us on FM 104.7 or WHUPFM.org, you might want to head out to one of our live streams. You can find our live streams on your favorite live stream services, and your favorite live stream services are Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can find us at all three at WHUP Pass the Hat. That's at WHUP Pass the Hat. Easy to find. All three of those services. Twitch, all of them are live right now. Twitch will keep the live stream for 2 weeks. Facebook and YouTube keeps those live streams forever, or as long as they exist, which means we have several years, a few years at least, of live streams out there on those services. So you can watch this live stream now and then go out and see all the previous live streams too, because we got some good stuff out there.
Hundreds of the best in North Carolina, original music. It is the top of the hour, everybody. This is WHUP LP Hillsboro. Bob, we are so fortunate to have an hour 2 sponsor, and Rafael it will be holding up. And Bob, what is that?
That's right. We do have a sponsor for this second hour of Pass the Hat. Support for this second hour of Pass the Hat is sweetly provided by Matthews Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsboro, North Carolina, the finest in chocolate and chocolate accessories for all of your chocolate needs. And let's face it, we all have chocolate needs. Every guest on Pass the Hat gets a gift of chocolate from Matthews. So that's the box Rafael is holding up, a box of chocolate that is for your own consumption, and it is fantastic. And y'all plan ahead for your chocolate holidays. All holidays are chocolate holidays. Order from Matthews and order in advance. Some folks don't know, Matthew just last Wednesday had a heart attack.
Oh.
He's okay. He's fine. He's in the shop today and says he has more energy than he has had in the past many years.
Opened up those vessels for him?
Opened up those arteries and the blood's pumping again, yes.
Well,
Good
Matthew,
news for once.
Yeah, we've been thinking about you, and glad you're back in the saddle, as they say.
Yeah, he is doing good. He's looking good. Is just full of energy. Good things are going to be happening over there at the chocolate shop.
Awesome.
You can see I'm trying not to just like open it and start.
It's okay.
eating them
You
now.
can do that now. We did have one band where the bass player just grabbed the box and ate it while the rest of the band was playing the next song.
And we had a duo last week, remember, who the mandolin player opened it up to the chagrin of the fiddler and just helped himself to it.
They were going to be fighting over that
So
stuff.
they're virtues of bringing your electronic band with you. They won't be stealing the chocolate.
No, I get all the full rewards. They're
Yes.
all mine. I should probably save that for after songs.
That's a
but
good
I
idea.
am going to bust that open, and it feels like feels pretty packed in there.
Oh, yeah, it's packed, and
So-
it does go well with bourbon. Just saying.
Yeah, there's this. I was asking about that earlier. I want to combine these two things in a second.
It is a good combination.
So, Rafael, your headstock is covered by your tuner, but is that a Martin guitar?
Yes, it's a Martin like OM body style. I used to. We've known each other a long time. I used to always play the big dreadnoughts. I think I always played Martins because they're a little bit.
I
warmer,
downsized
but-
to the studio size or OM, or I have a parlor and that size. I mean, I love them. Yeah.
I prefer it. It took me a long time to get away from the dreadnought thing, but I guess theoretically it doesn't produce as much volume, but it's also shorter scale, I think, than the guitar I had before, which was like a Martin GT something.
With shorter scale means just slightly less string tension, Bob. And
It frets tiniest bit closer together.
Yeah, I think that's true. I'm bad about guitar, like nerdy stuff, but I do feel that it's easier to play. It's a little bit more similar to like a classical, and
Well,
I
you're
do
certainly
think the
finding
French is
yourself all the way up the neck to where if you keep in that trend, you're going to have to get a cutaway.
Yeah, someday.
Or really long fingers.
No, this is my favorite, and it's my only acoustic right now.
And by the way, we think you exploded John Gillespie's head when you said folktronica.
Yes, I need to get on that. I had a whole concept of a folktronica album. I think that this moth, those moths that are yellow and pink. I can't remember what they're called. They're very
Big
common.
antenna, yes.
And one of those landed on my hand. I remember thinking, like, I want to just find the Latin name for this moth, make a folktronica album based on that name, and then start dressing like this moth, like always wearing yellow, only yellow and pink, and build a whole persona. But I haven't gotten around to it, to the folktronica thing yet. It's folktronica right now, technically.
Yes.
But eventually an album's going to come out of that sound. It's going to be just drum machines and acoustic guitar. What would be really cool is if there were other kind of folk instruments involved, and it was
It was
double bass
folktronica,
and
mandolin and bass.
Yeah.
But when you get that outfit worked out, come back here on the show.
I will, yeah.
And in the meantime, can you play some more music?
Yeah, this is heavily reliant on bass. I don't have my bassist with me, but there's some cool guitar stuff in it too. This is Under My Skin. Silence is peace. It's never complete. There's always a faucet. Keeping time. A floorboy groaning in the attic. Go deeper within. Grow under my skin. Can you perceive me? I have become an apparition. Shiver in your spine. Two paths to take. Converge in one place. Heaven and hell. Are inside you. Phone is hanging by the cord. Cling to the warmth. Deep in my core. Penetrating the walls
I'm so digging this evening's
you.
music.
You did something really interesting in that song. If I understood what was going on, and you don't hear very often, but you moved from minor to major. I mean, I saw one and the line "Silver Stream" and then "To the Stars" were major, sort of some kind of major progression, and then the rest of it was in some sort of minor. And some
No, I
sevenths
actually
and
don't,
things.
not really sure of the theory, because you're in E minor. So I guess it's sort of a typical move. The 4 chord is now major.
Yeah.
So what scale degree? Let's see how good. So the 6th has been raised. So it's almost like melodic minor. So maybe the whole thing is kind of a melodic minor. I should look at that. But I think just that chorus, then the 4 chord is
And
major.
the chorus brings it back. It was really nice.
Thank
Love
you.
that. So your friend, the rosy maple moth, it's called, or Dryocampa rubicunda.
Okay.
Rubicunda is a good
Rubicunda is a
name.
cool name. What was the first one?
Dryocampa.
Dryocampa. I like that.
And so it's I must tell you though that its lifespan is from 2 to 9 months. So in 9 months you'll have to have a new persona maybe.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
good time for a moth. That's a long lifespan.
That's about the amount of time it takes to promote one album.
Yeah, there you go.
So I guess I was thinking kind of a Bjork thing because she'll have these eras, and the one that she's in now, at least I think the recent interview she gave about her new album was, now I'm in my mushroom era or my fungus era, and so now her dresses and her costumes are all sort of
Fungi.
fungus-like. I don't know what the right word for that is. And so I was thinking a similar thing, but with this moth. That I would,
The rubicunda.
yeah.
Wow.
I am here for this.
Yep.
You know, what else I'm here for is we've talked a whole lot about you growing up in a classical music household, lots of classical music going on. Classical music, not known for its lyrics.
No, that's why that part's hard for me, I think.
That's what I was going to ask, is how do lyrics come for you? What inspires you, and is it difficult?
Lyrics are less difficult than vocal melodies. And that could just be a limitation of my brain. I like to blame it on only hearing classical music most of my life because the type of melodies that a string instrument would play are different than the type of melodies a voice would sing. There's just a very different. I mean, a lot of those really classic I guess arias and classical songs are written in such a way that a cello, a violin, a flute, a voice, that all these instruments could play it, a cell phone, a MIDI could play it, and it would still work. But the way a lot of modern, this is just my theory, the way a lot of modern pop and folk works is that the vocal melodies don't necessarily translate to other instruments in that way. It's a different way of writing a melody. There's a lot of repeated notes and stuff that maybe you wouldn't do if you were writing a violin melody. And so I just think I just didn't have it in my ear, and I just really struggled with vocal melodies. But lyrics are the easy part, are one of the easy parts. I have kind of a thing that I like, a way that I like to write. They're never what I want them to be. They're songwriters who I think are brilliant lyricists, and I'd love to be on their level. But I'm happy enough with what I write, usually the first couple of drafts.
That's important, to be happy with it.
Your lyrics are very poetic.
Thank you.
They are and bring imagery.
Yeah, they're not puerile. They're not Tom, Dick, and Harry level kind of stuff. You're actually you're telling us stories, and you're making it poetic.
I feel like I was saying this the other day. I feel like there's 3 different camps of lyric writing. I'm going to amend this theory as soon as I think about it more. But it's sort of very commercial, then sort of very 3-dimensional but storytelling, and then I think there's painting with words, kind of. And I'm more in the painting with words camp. That's a lot of the stuff that I like, where it's almost a puzzle or kind of dreamlike. It's not extremely linear. It's not storytelling. There's a lot of traveloguing. We used to call it. I took lyric writing in college. And I think they'd call it traveloguing, where you're jumping locations and jumping from this place to that. And I like that kind of stuff. And I also really respect great storytelling lyrics, though. And I do wish that I could pull that off more, but I'm happy with just the painting with word stuff and
I personally, I'm not a songwriter, I'm not a musician, but I'm a person who enjoys listening to music, and I definitely lean towards your types of lyrics that are not telling me an overt story, and because I think as soon as songwriters start telling a story, a specific story that they want to get across, way too much information gets pumped into the song, and the song gets very lyric heavy, and it's just pointing me in a direction,
right.
whether I want to be there or not. Whereas a story that's more just travel logging, as you said, allows me to fill in all the bits and pieces with parts of my life, and I can feel more intimate with the song.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when there's like some room for interpretation, it can be even more powerful. The experience isn't specific, and whatever you're going through, it can kind of speak to that. And I'm not a poet. I don't know if this is true, but I feel like what poetry, the utility or the purpose of poetry, in my mind, is that there are things that are difficult to explain with language, and you can kind of just try to get someone to the emotional space that you're in, and try to evoke something that's beyond description. And like I like that kind of pursuit of like, it's not necessarily about the specific situation I'm in. It's about this whole feeling that accompanies it, and how can I make you feel that.
And other people can have these feelings too. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Like there's The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, a fantastic song. It was wonderful in its time. It's wonderful now. But I'm not in that song anywhere, no matter how I listen to it. It's just a story of shipwreck.
And I love that stuff too. Yeah, but it's not. It's so specific that it's not necessarily about you processing your. It's not like a kind of the therapy power of a song that
Right.
can be interpreted. I feel like whatever you're going through, it can kind of speak to that, because it maybe is just evokes the kind of cosmic sadness of being alive, or the joy, or whatever. I mean, we mentioned Nick Drake. That was one that I love, where it's all like a dream. It's all kind of magical, realist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're ready to hear our next stream from you.
This song is called "The Twist."
Chubby
kind of-
Checker.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, it's kind of. I'm trying. It was my attempt to be a little poppier. Let's see how I did. Diving in a black hole again and again, reliving a past life or a false memory, but don't look back, just stay on track. Yeah, don't look back. You always tell me again and again. This time I'll do the right thing, but I'll do it at the wrong time. Don't look back, just stay on track. Yeah, don't look back. Wish you once said there's no dreaming in death. You were born in the past, so you know it won't last. Already gone, and I Shyamalan. Here comes the twist, don't try to resist. Wish you once said there's no dreaming in death. You were born in the past, so you know it won't last. You're already gone, and I Shyamalan. Here comes the twist, don't try to resist. Here comes the twist, don't try to resist. Here comes the twist, here comes the twist. Here comes the twist, don't try to resist.
Nice.
That was a catchy song.
Thank you.
My toes were tapping. You know, where am I going with in my mind? Your mom plays cello, right? And I've always thought cello was one of the most evocative instruments out there. And I'm wondering if, when you're composing your songs, when you're putting them together, do you ever think, go over and knock on mom's doors? Hey, could you come lay down a cello track?
I want to do that all the time, and I wonder how, what's the right word? How corny would it be, or
11.
would it be awesome to do? My mom's on actually probably most of my albums at some point, but to do kind of just like a whole EP with just me and her or something like that. I think people would like it.
It would be extraordinary.
Yeah, it would be totally corny and extraordinary, as Kirk said. It was just
I
amazing.
tried. Just the other day, I was thinking like, oh, I want cello on this thing. I'm making an Instagram. Just sometimes I'll make like a 1-minute song, and it's like I don't think I'm going to put this on an album, but I'll put it on Instagram. And I was thinking, I really want cello on this. Like, is it too corny to like do some of these, But it's a resource that I'm lucky to have, and that I think I will probably exploit.
Absolutely,
more.
exploit it while you can. How's your shoulder hanging up? You holding
Pretty good.
up?
Yeah, I've been practicing. You can see me like massaging my arm. I've been taking up a new practice routine. I've been trying to make up for lost time with improvisation. I never really worked really hard on that, so I've been getting up and working on improvisation, learning licks and fretboard theory and stuff, and especially trying to learn more country licks and stuff pretty much every day for the past couple of weeks. So I'm discovering that pro musicians who do that need to be mindful of strain. But I'm doing okay.
So you're getting little bluegrass shoulder.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
No, I just made it up.
Exactly. All those just like running 18th note things. And these things, it's just constant, right?
Yeah.
Another thing I want to do is I want to make an album at some point where the parts are very forgiving, and I can just grab a guitar anywhere I am and play it, and it's kind of, I'm not saying easy, but easier. I think I want to have like a down tempo, nothing above 90 BPM album.
Well, sure, and there are things you can do that are all strumming, so it's all just bending your elbow back and forth with the pick, and other things that are all finger picking, so it's a little less work on your elbow and more shoulder and wrist.
Right.
You got to mix it all up, I guess.
Well, everybody, you've been tuning in to Pass the Hat here on WHUP. Our wonderful guest is Rafael Green. Learn about Rafael at RafaelGreenMusic.com. Rafael, we have time for one more. And again, thank you so much for joining us this evening in the studio.
Oh, and by the way,
Thanks
I was
for
wrong
having me.
about Bandcamp Friday. That is next Friday. So next Friday, get out to RafaelGreenMusic.bandcamp.com and buy all the music.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, next Friday. I'm sorry I didn't play songs from my last EP. I don't think I played a single one, but that just makes it more interesting. So my last EP,
go buy it.
My last EP is on Bandcamp. Yeah, go buy it next Friday. It's called "Stars in the Soil."
I mean, you could buy it right now, but Rafael gets more out of it if you buy it next Friday.
Or
Yes,
buy
I
it
get
both Fridays
There you go.
Yeah,
and give one to your friend.
give the gift of a digital album.
I'm sure that works somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you do it above board.
Yes.
BMI.
Yeah.
and
No
ASCAP are
LimeWire.
listening.
If I find myself on LimeWire, I'm busting out the lawyers. That's perfect because I have just one more that I wanted to get to. Speaking of magical realism, this was kind of based on kind of an idea that I thought would make a great magical realist short story. And it's about this town where everyone is losing their memory. And what's happening is their memories are falling out of their heads and falling into the ground. And the worms are consuming their memories along with whatever worm food worms eat down there.
Huh.
And the worms are becoming increasingly sentient and are having visions of these people's lives. And the worms are not happy about it.
Freaking the worms out.
Probably
Yeah.
breaking their hearts.
They feel really cursed to suddenly be burdened with the memories of all these people. So this is Food for Worms.
Food
I was
for
gonna play it
Worms
with
is
the
not
backing track,
cooperating.
but it's not. Yeah, might have to play it without the backing track. So here we go. I live in the earth, day after day. Under the roots, where stories are laid. In the village above, they're losing the thread. La 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 la. La la. The banker's counting. He starts over again. The widow is praying for whom she forgets. In the soil below, their memories descend. The lustrous moments lie like a mineral vein. forgotten. We now recall what they have forgotten. We now recall what they have forgotten. We now
Y'all have been listening to a fantastic hour of Rafael Green here live on WHUP's Pass the Hat. You can catch the live stream if you're not catching it now at WHUP Pass the Hat on your favorite live streaming services, which are YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And y'all watching the live stream, we're going to end it now. The show does not end, however. So tune into WHUPFM.org, or if you're in Hillsboro, to FM 104.7. You can hear the rest of the show where we're going to listen to Rafael Green's playlist. We're going to kick off his playlist now with Glowing from Reverie, which he will outro for us after we play it. And we're going to get reconnoitered here in the studio and be back with you in a minute, y'all.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Check my phone.